Well, hi again, everybody. It's me, your humble correspondent. I sat down this afternoon to bang out a rather long, detailed, over the weekend blog post, and I thought to myself, what am I doing this for? And one, I don't have the time, and two, everything that I say gets kind of lost in translation on posts like this, and I thought, well, it'd be a lot easier if I just simply made a video. So here we are. Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Well, I guess you can see me, but I can't see you. So I assume you're out there. We'll find out. And I have this allergies, really bad. It's nasty this time of year. So if you catch me itching my nose, remember this is not some kind of professional slick operation here. It is me and my crack staff putting all this together. So you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. So what do we need to talk about? Well, a couple of things. First of all, a little bit about how things have gone for the last month or so. After April, I vowed to myself that I wouldn't let a big drop like that catch me or you or any of us flat-footed again. And lo and behold, look what happened. It just goes to show you can never stop learning. And the cartel will never stop surprising you. Just when you think they can't do something, they can. But when you have total control over a market, you can pretty much do whatever you want, as we found out to all of our chagrin a couple of weeks ago. Though we've seen things rally back here some. You can all see by looking at the charts that there's an area here that gold and silver are really going to have some trouble getting through. You combine that with all of the crazy things going on in the world. This, from the ongoing Europe stuff to, I don't know what the devil's going on with Iran, U.S., and Saudi Arabia, and what all that means. And then you line that up with this WebBot stuff about, watch out in the markets, or all of this is going to come to a head the week of the 18th or whatever that is. Anyway, there's a lot of things out there that should have us all kind of on guard. If things really unravel, you can imagine gold and silver will go down, and we may finally get our chance to look at gold at 1,500 and look at silver sometime between 24 and 25. And if that happens, please use it to your advantage. Don't panic. Don't go selling anything, for God's sake. Use that as an opportunity to collect more physical, because as we have stated ad nauseum, and as we will continue to state, physical metal is the only form of cash that has no counterparty risk. It is the only investment that truly protects not only you, but your family and your purchasing power and your net worth. So please utilize any weakness that is granted here to your advantage. Try not to trade on the COMEX. If you must, then buy options that have lots of time, because in the short term, as you know, they can do anything, and they will do anything. To that end, I was working out the other day, and I banged my finger, something fierce. I wasn't paying attention. I was slipping a new plate onto the bar, and I wasn't paying attention, and I smashed my finger, and it hurt like hell. I don't want to necessarily just show it to you, but I need to show it to Jamie and to everybody else. Maybe show it to Ben too. Look at that. I mean, that hurt like crazy. Look at that. Can you believe how badly that hurt? Look at that. All right, that's enough of that. Okay, so that's your price update. Now, a couple of other things we got to talk about. I first really got my first hint of this back around 9/11, and it is getting worse. And I fear that with the Occupy Wall Street stuff and with the elections coming next year, it's only going to get worse from here. And it is this whole narcissistic power of one, every man an island mindset that we're seeing here. And it drives me crazy. And it's going to be the ruin of this site, and it's going to be the ruin of you individually if you keep going this way. And what I mean by that is we're at the point where anyone well, let me put it this way. If I, God forbid, am right in your eyes about 95% of the things that you believe, but then there's something that you and I don't agree on, whether it's politics or whether there is evil in the world that isn't just the Fed, anything. Don't look at me like I'm some kind of fool. And that's what seems to happen. And it's not just me, it's all of your fellow turdites out there. There's this attitude that if you don't agree with me 100% on everything, then you're the problem. Then you're my enemy. And that's that standalone confidence that, again, it's kind of this polarizing narcissism mentality, is going to be the death of everything. And it's going to tear this side apart. If we can't find some commonality, if we can't find the base issues upon which we agree and can operate and function, then the whole thing's going to fall apart. And I'm sure you've noticed that there is an organized effort to pull at the threads of this site, that we have seen and we have chronicled the IP addresses of folks that have shown up here specific and posted and signed up and posted specifically to belittle me, to belittle, they look at the leaderboard and they attack the top 10 people on the hat tip leaderboard. And again, if you only knew where some of these IP addresses are registered, it'd be a rather eye-opening experience for you. And let's just say I'm not ready to go to Judge Napolitano with this information yet, but I'm thinking about it. And one, you need to be aware that there are, shall we say, Orwellian operations that go after sites like this. And frankly, there are going to be opposition movements that go after sites like this. There's going to be people that show up here as this election nears next year that show up at this site and sites like it with the intent of breaking it apart, with the intent of stirring things up and turning us all against each other, because chaos is what is needed to promote a certain agenda. And so I wanted to get in front of this now, before we go any further, to urge you all to be patient with each other and to help each other and to find common ground and to work together. Just because we don't agree on 100% of everything does not mean we can't function together and help each other, okay? And just because your beliefs are not exactly in line with my beliefs does not make you right and does not give you license to criticize me or anyone else as wrong, because again, they are your beliefs. They are not your proofs. They are not your 100% nature's law proofs. They are what you believe. And if at times when they don't line up with what I believe, does not mean that I'm stupid and you're right. Okay? So, let's keep that in mind. And let me just assure you, this will all unravel and go away if we don't take care of it. The garden will be overgrown with weeds and thorns should we decide not to care for it. Along those lines, you probably, if you were reading the comments of the previous thread, you saw something there from moderator Jane. And first of all, God bless all four of them. Jane, Washington, Jackson, and Jefferson. Because I don't pay them squat, okay? Well, yeah, they might get a little holiday bonus. Just like Mrs. Ferguson might get a little holiday bonus, you know? Anyway, they might get a little holiday bonus. But they do this because they love this site. And I don't agree with them all. I have very little in common with a few of them, at least from a political standpoint. But we agree on the basic fundamentals on which this site was built. And so therefore, they are moderators, and they do a wonderful job. Yeah, maybe sometimes they get a little overly aggressive, but that's fine with me, okay? They got to do what they got to do, and I want to be on the record here for publicly endorsing what they do and thanking them. Anyway, Jane mentioned earlier today something about politics. And just like 9/11, man, we're going to get in front of this here as well. Going forward, there will be no tolerance of overt political commentary and fighting on the main blog. Okay? There are forums. And if you're someone that comes to this site only to read what I write, first of all, you need help. But second of all, that's not why this site was built. Man, I built this site to capitalize and leverage the collective knowledge and wisdom of the whole turd world. Okay, and that knowledge and that wisdom is found in the comments of what I write, but it's primarily found in the forums and even in the chat room. So if you're coming to this site and not hanging out in the forums and clicking through there, you're missing out, man. So in the forums, there are specific politics and election 2012 forum rooms where you can start your own thread. If you start a thread and say, hey, man, Rick Santorum's my guy. First of all, you're probably not going to get a lot of people that want to talk to you going forward. But regardless of that, maybe they will. Anyway, you can start a thread. You don't have to then hang around and moderate it. That's the job of the moderators to go through there and sift through that stuff. And me too. But you can start a thread. You can say, hey, I really want to see what, I got a lot in common with these gold people in Turd Land. I'd like to see if anybody else thinks X. You start a thread there and see who else comments. That's what the forums are for. I am not, and I have instructors. I have instructed all the moderators that we will have a zero tolerance, again, for what we'll call overt political promotion and argument in the comments of the main thread. So if somebody shows up there and says, hey, this site is a Ron Paul site. Well, first of all, it's not. This site aims to be I shouldn't say apolitical, because that means no politics, and politics are unavoidable. It should be nonpartisan, because everyone, all of our